One of the main new features of the expanded Lost River map that's going to be coming out later this year as DLC is that you'll be able to play the entire sequence of quests, find a mate, establish a territory, and raise pups in Lost River just as you can in Slough Creek, and eventually on the other maps as well. Most of the dens are out and about in the wilderness, but a few are close to downtown, and so let's take a look at one of these. I wanted to place a den just down from the downtown. Now, in the old Lost River map, this is Hank's Ditch. It's all concreted over. In the new Lost River map, this is a reimagining of Lost River, and so a lot of things are similar, but some things are different. And in this Lost River, Hank has not finished building the ditch yet. Hank's Ditch is in progress, and so the lower half of the creek here is still this lovely wooded glade. And Hank had to leave town before he could finish the job, which means Wolf can move in and build a den here. And so I placed one of these dirt dens here to mark where I wanted to put it, but actually we have a new tree in the expanded Lost River. This is a red maple tree. This is not a common tree you'd find in the wilderness, but it is a common tree that cities in the Mountain West plant, because I looked that up. It's a nice shade tree with a green canopy in the summer and turns this intense red in the fall. So one of our tree artists, Paul Sandoval Lopez, created this a set of gorgeous red maple trees, and he gave them a root system. So we're going to be able to use this tree to create a den nestled at the roots of a red maple tree. So let's bring in the den mesh that we use for these tree root dens. Now this looks very familiar to you, I'm sure, if you played the game. This was designed for tree root dens. So I worked on this a fair bit, but it turns out to get tricky but the Lost River terrain is lower resolution because it's a bigger map, and for, to avoid increasing the performance demands, it's the same resolution, and so just less precision in the topography here. It's already a little tricky to get this thing integrated nicely with the terrain, and this made it even harder. So let's switch to a new den mesh, which another artist that we've been working with, Rado Djordjev, I'm sure I messed that one up. He's in Bulgaria, and he's been making a lot of rock models for us. And so I said, hey, we need another den mesh. So he whipped up a couple of these. I've been playing around with these in Lost River, and these work quite nicely. So it's a lot of nudging and tweaking and turning and twisting, and then a lot of fussing and refining of the terrain to get it to kind of merge in nicely with the den mesh. And then the other den mesh, there's a mask texture, which controls what terrain textures are displayed on different parts of the mesh. So I'm going to pause here, go whip up a mask texture for this, because I haven't needed it for this den before. And here we go. So here I've got a 3-color mask. Red is where I want the grassy forest floor to be. Blue is where I want the dirt texture to be. And green is kind of in between, or little patches of other things, depending how that looks. So I can dial in which texture to show for each of these colors in the mask. And yeah, these are too sharp transitions. I need to blur this some, do a bunch more tweaks and stuff. Okay, now this is getting close. Still needs more work, but you get the idea. This will be a nice spot for young pups growing up below all that concrete of Hank's Ditch. So that's one den, but of course we need 24 dens or so, give or take, in Lost River. And again, most of them will be in the wilderness, but there are some opportunities for more fun dens because people left a lot of stuff around here. For example, here's an old truck that somebody abandoned off the road, and an animal, coyote might come along and see there's a nice little sheltered area for their den and dig it out, and then wolves might come along and expand it and turn it into their own den. And so let's do that here, again using one of these new den meshes that Rado made for us. I know that some players would like to have dens in houses or in dog houses or that kind of thing, and those just aren't very realistic because wolves really do like to have a den with that long tunnel, because that provides a lot of security. They can stand in that tunnel and block any intruder from getting in there. And so all our dens are going to have that tunnel. And there it is. So 2 down. I've actually got about a dozen dens done now. Some are pretty typical dirt and rock dens, and some are more interesting than that. But you'll just have to wait and discover those on your own. Once this expanded Lost River DLC is released later this year.